Let us understand three basic operations with fractions. First, we'll try to understand how do we simplify the fractions into the lowest terms, and then how do we multiply and divide with fractions, writing solutions in the simplest form. Enjoy the journey of learning with Anil Kumar. We'll also review divisibility rules as we simplify these fractions. I'm Anil Kumar. In case you want to learn directly from me, feel free to send an email on globalmathinstitute@gmail.com. Our playlist has thousands of videos for you. Explore them for free. Now let's try to simplify these fractions one by one. The very first one is 21 over 28. As you can see, 21 and 28 are multiples of 7. So we can divide both by 7, right? Dividing by 7, we get what? 7 times 3 is 21, and 7 times 4 is 28. And therefore, we get our result as 3 over 4. Perfect. So we divided numerator and denominator by 7. So normally, we are not writing divide by 7. We simply divide and then write down the result. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28, right? So you should be good at multiplication tables to do this type of question. The next one here is 126 divided by 168. You can see that these are both even numbers. So first step is we are going to divide both by 2. So when I divide by 2, I get 2 goes 6 times in 12 and 3 times in 6. We get 63 in the numerator. In the denominator, when you divide 168 by 2, half of this is 84. So we have 63. 3 plus 6 is 9, and 8 plus 4 is 12. So both can be divided by 3, right? And 7 times 9 is 63. 7 can also help us to divide it further, but we'll go in steps. Dividing by 3, we get 21, and this dividing by 3, 3 times 2 is 6. 24, we get 26. 3 times 2 is 6, then we get 24, and 3 times 8 is 24, not 26. So let's divide 84 by 3. 3 times 2 is 6. We're left with 2 and 4, 24. 3 times 8 is 24. Now 21 over 28, as we have seen earlier, we can divide both by 7. Once you do that, you get 7 times 3 and 7 times 4. So this fraction is also equivalent to 3 over 4. Now let's look into 546 over 819. Now these are really very big numbers, slightly difficult to divide. If I add 5, 4, and 6, I get 9 plus 6, 15, means I can divide it by 3. 8, 1, and 9, I can divide this by 9. But let's begin by dividing by 3. So dividing 5, 4, 6 by 3, 3 times 1 is 3, 24, 3 times 8 is 24, and 3 times 2 is 6. In the denominator, 3 times 2 is 6, 21, 7, and 9 goes 3 times. So we got 273 and 182. Now these numbers are very difficult to divide. Let's try. because one is even, the other one is not, and if you add 182, it is not a multiple of 3. 9 plus 2 is 11. So, what number could help? We can try 7, right? There is a divisibility rule by 7. That is, if I drop 2, twice 2 is 4. 18 take away 4 is 14, which is a multiple of 7, so it can be divided by 7. So you can look into my video on divisibility rules by 7. However, let's try it out. 7 times 2 is 14. 42, 7 times 6 is 42. So it goes 26 times, right? Here, 7 times 3 is 21, we get 63, and 7 times 9 is 39. Now you see we got 26 and 39. Which number will divide into 26 and 39? So the number which can work is 13. 13 times 3 and 13 times 2. Do you see that? So we again get a solution which is 2 over 3. That is the simplest form, correct? So here what we did was we first divided by 3, right? And then we divided by 7 and then by 13 and got a result. Perfect. The next one, 729 over 864. If I add 7 plus 2 is 9, 9 plus 9 is 18, I can divide the numerator by 9. Denominator, 8 plus 6 is 14, 14 plus 4 is 18. I can divide this also by 9. So let us divide first by 9. Correct? So dividing by 9, what do I get? 9 times 8 is 72 and 9 times 1 is 9. In the denominator, 86. 9 times 9 is 81, right? And then we get 54. 9 times 6 is 54. So we get 81 over 96. Now, what number can help? So, when such situations occur, you need to try different set of numbers, correct? 96, you can divide by 3. 81, you can still divide by 3, right? So we can continue dividing by 3 now. So if I divide by 3, what do I get? 3 times 2 is 6, 21 is 7. And 3 times 3 is 9, and we get 32. So we have 27 over 32. Now 27 is 3 times 9, 32 has all twos, right? 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So we cannot further simplify. So the result is 27 over 32. Do you see that? So anyway, they were slightly tricky questions, especially the last two. However, I hope you have understood the process. We need to divide both numerator and denominator by the same number to simplify. You should know the times tables to do it and the divisibility rules. For numbers like 7 and 13, you should try them direct. That will always help. I hope it serves the purpose. Let us master the strategy of multiplying fractions with 20 examples. I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my YouTube channel and the website Global Math Institute. This video is especially for grade 5 and above students. We'll try to understand how do we multiply fractions. In the playlist, you'll have hundreds of videos for our middle school students to practice. Now, in this particular video, we are going to understand the concept with the help of 20 questions. Wide variety of questions are taken to give you an excellent practice of how do we multiply fractions. So here you see the first 12 questions, and then we have another set. As you can see, we'll be multiplying 2 and also 3 fractions in this particular video. So let's begin with the very first problem, which is simple fractions. We are going to now multiply 3 by 7 with 2 over 5. What do we get? Well, a couple of ways to do it. One is you can directly multiply the numerators and the denominators. So 3 times 2 is 6 and 7 times 5 is 35. So that is how you can easily multiply. Now, important part here also is that you need to write the answer in the lowest terms. 6 over 35 is indeed the lowest since they do not have any common factor to cancel. So, what is a common factor? Let's see in the next example. Now, in the next example, which is question number 2, we need to multiply 4 divided by 5 with 10 divided by 7. One way to do it is direct, that is, 4 times 10, as you know, is 40, and 5 times 7 is 35. Now, here, between 40 and 35, both can be divided by 5. So, there is a common factor, 5. So, that fraction can be written in a simpler form. Dividing by 5, 40 divided by 5 is 8, and 35 divided by 5 is 7. So we'll write down the answer as 8 over 7. Now, most of the time, we will be writing answer in improper fraction. But sometimes it may be useful to convert this to a mixed number. So, conversion of mixed number can be done, but here we are restricting ourselves to write in fractions only, right? Okay, great. So, I think you have understood this process. Okay, now I'm also going to share with you a faster way of doing it. Here is the alternate solution. We had 4 over 5 and we need to multiply this with 10 over 7. Now, as you can see, 5 and 10 can be simplified. Everything in the numerator is one part, and everything in the denominator is the other part. So you can divide any with any, right? So 10 and 5. 5 times 1, 5 times 2 is 10. Do you see that? So we have simplified first and now we will multiply. So 4 times 2 is 8 and 7 times 1 is 7. Do you see? So what do you feel? Which method is better? Of course, the second method is far better. So the strategy now is simplify and then multiply. I hope you got the idea. So we'll now onward simplify and then multiply. Perfect. Are you there with me on this? Perfect. Yes. Now the next example is 1 over 3 times 1 over 6. Well, this cannot be simplified. 1 times 1 is 1 and 6 times 3 is 18, and we have 1 over 18 as our answer. Makes sense. What should I do in question number 4? 9 times 5 over 6. Sometimes confusing. What is the numerator and what is the denominator for 9? Well, I can rewrite this as 9 over 1, right? Times 5 over 6. Now, does it make sense? Yes, it does. So, a whole number is also a fraction with 1 as the denominator. Perfect. Now, as we learned earlier in question number 2, simplify and then multiply. So let's simplify. 9 and 6 can both be divided by 3. 3 times 3 is 9 and 3 times 2 is 6. So we get 5 times 3, 15 in the numerator and 2 in the denominator. So we get 15 over 2 as our answer. Correct? Perfect. Now let's see the other set of 4 numbers. So I've put them together close so that you can now pause the video, answer them all. We will do the shortcut method, which is first simplify and then multiply. So 8 times 7 over 30, it really means 8 over 1, right? Correct. 8 and 30, both are even numbers. We can divide them by 2, right? So dividing 8 by 2 gives me 4, and 30 divided by 2 is 15. And this can be written as 7 times 4, 28 over 15. Correct? So that is our answer for question number 5. That is a good practice, right? 7 by 21 times 12 really means times 12 over 1. Correct? Now 7 and 21 can be simplified. 7 times 1 and 7 times 3. Again, we can simplify 3 with 12. 3 goes one time and 4 times 12. So what do we get here? We get 4 over 1, and normally we'll just write this as the number 4. You see how we are moving forward? We have learned now how do we multiply a fraction with a whole number. Whole number basically is something divided by 1. Perfect. Now here we have 1 over 35. 1 over 35 is also called reciprocal of 35, right? 1 over 35. Well, what should you do? Well, 35 and 7, they have something in common, right? 7 times 5 is 35. So I can divide by 7. Each one of them, we get 35 divided by 7 is 5, 7 divided by 7 is 1, and that gives me 1 over 5 times 8, that is 40. Is that clear to you? Perfect. Next question. 4 over 9 times 15 over 6. Let's simplify this. 4 being even, I can divide by 2. 2 times 2, 6 goes 2 times 3. And now 15 and 3 can be divided. 3 times 1, 15, 3 times 5. So we have a simplified form, 5 times 2 in the numerator and 9 times 1 in the denominator. You see that. Have a good look at it. At this stage, we have done simple multiplication of fractions. Perfect. I hope you are enjoying this journey of learning. In case you want to learn directly from me, feel free to send an email on globalmathinstitute@gmail.com. Now, here is our next set. Now we have improper fractions involved in multiplying the fractions. How do we do these questions? Perfect. So let's try to rewrite them as fractions. So 3 over 4 times, this is a mixed number, 1, 2 over 6. It really means multiply 1 with the denominator 6 and add 2. So it is equal to 8 over 6. Makes sense, right? So once we have written in form of fractions, now we will follow the process which we learned. First simplify and then multiply. So 4 times 2 is 8, right? So that is one time. And 3 times 2 is 6. You see, I'm also writing 1 there. It makes sense, right? And 2 divided by 2 is 1. And so in this case, we get 1 as our answer. Perfect. So that is also possible. You can get 1, you can get more than 1, or you can get less than 1 as your answer when you multiply fractions. Perfect. Here, 1 over 3 times 1 over 6. First step, convert the mixed number 1 over 3 as improper fraction. Let's do that. So 1 times 3 plus 1, which is 4 over 3, times 1 over 6. Now 4 is even. You can divide by 2. 6 is even. Multiply. Divide by 2, you get 2 times 3. And now you get 2 times 1 as 2, 3 times 3 as 9 as your denominator. Good. So we have now learned how do we multiply fractions when one of them, or it could be both, given in mixed form, right? Great. Question number 12 and 13. So now we are moving on with slightly bigger number, right? More two-digit numbers now. We have 15 over 18 times 6 over 10. Now, first let us simplify. That is, take care of 15 and 10. Both can be divided by 5. 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 2 is 10. Okay? 6 and 18. 6 times 1 and 6 times 3. Perfect. And 3 can also be simplified. Makes sense. We get a very simple answer, which is 1 over 2. Perfect. Now onwards, I like you to pause the video, do it yourself, and then check the answer. 5 over 12 times 4 over 15. 5 and 15, you can divide by 5. 5 times 1, 5 times 3. 4 times 1 and 4 times 3 gives you 12. 1 over 9 is the answer. Simple as that, right? So we can do it pretty fast actually, right? 20 questions, we are already through 12. Question number 13. 6 over 25 times 15 over 24, ending with 5, can be divided by 5, 5 times 3, and 5 times 5. Now 6 can be divided into 24. 6 times 4 is 24. So we get our answer, which is 3 over 20. Perfect. 3 times 1, 5 times 4. Next question, 12 over 75 times 25 over 36. Well, 25, 1 quarter, 75, 3 quarters, right? So you could use this knowledge. 1 quarter, 3 quarters, done. 1 dozen and 3 dozens. Perfect. 12. 12 times 3 is 36. 3 dozens. So 1 times 1 and 3 times 3. 1 over 9 is our answer. Numbers can be big, but see how simple they are to multiply, especially when we have fractions involved. Perfect. Question number 16, 15 and 16 for you now. 14 over 81 times 36 over 21. So 14 and 21 are 7 times 2 and 7 times 3. So we can divide this by 7, right? And 36 and 81. Well, that reminds me, 9. So we can divide this by 9, 9 times 4 and 9 times 9. So we get what? 4 times 2 as 8 and 9 times 3 as 27 as our answer for question number 15. Perfect. I hope you are now doing as fast as I am doing, or maybe faster, right? So simple. Perfect. In the playlist, we have many other questions to work with. And after this, we are going to take division. And there are 20 questions which you can see there, right? So, a lot of things to come in this playlist for similar type of questions. Great. 26 over 81 times 36 over 39. Okay. So, we can do to 36 and 81, 9 times 4 and 9 times 9. How about 26 and 39? That's tricky. 26 and 39 comes in 13 table. 13 times 2, 13 times 2 and 13 times 3, right? Now here, let me write down. So 13 times 1 is 13 because many students may not know this, in grade 5 especially, right? So this is 13's timetable, right? You may like to go through times tables, right? Especially 13 is important because it's a prime number. And now, what do we get? We already have the answer here, which is 4 times 2 as 8, 9 times 3 as 27. 8 over 27 is the answer for question number 16, right? What did we do? We divided by 13. In a pack of cards, there are 52 cards, and these can be distributed 13 each to 4 students, right? So 13 times 4 is 52, right? So this is 13 stable. That much if you know, you can do many questions. Great. Now, moving forward, set of two questions 17 and 18. This time we are going to multiply three fractions. It is similar to what we had been doing, right? All the three numbers 9, 6, and 25 are in the numerator, 10, 15, and 36 are in the denominator. You can cancel or simplify any one of them. 9, for example, times 1 and 9 times 4 simplifies 9 and 36. Now 25 and 15 both can be divided by 5, and you see we get 5 over 3 in this case, and 6 over 10, as you know, a set of even numbers dividing by 2, 2 times 3 and 2 times 5. Now you see 5 and 5, so we can actually cancel 5's also. 5 times 1 and 5 times 1. 3, 3 times 1 and 3 times 1. What are we left with? The 3 ones in the numerator will give me only 1, and 4 times 1 times 1 is 4, so we get quarter 1 over 4 as the answer for this question. Make sense? So it doesn't really matter. It is the same process. Simplify and then multiply. Great. Now, next question 8 times, you understand 8 is in the numerator, right? So you could think like this, right? Okay, now let's do it. So take a moment. 11 and 22 reminds you can be divided by 11 itself. 11 times 1, 11 times 2. 8 is even, so 2 times 4 is 8, right? And 2 times 9 is 18. 27 and 9 can be simplified. 9 times 3 is 27. Makes sense? You could do 3 times 3 and 3 times 9, then again do it, but this is also correct. And the last one, which I'm going to do, is divide 2 by 2, which is 1, and 2 times 2 is 4. As you can now see, we get a whole number this time. 2 times 3 is 6, right? So 6 over 1, I'm simply writing this as 6. Makes sense. Great. No problem so far, right? Great. Last two questions for you. I like you to now pause the videos as slightly more difficult than what we had been dealing with. However, I think with the practice you have, you can easily solve them. Let's begin solving them one by one. So, what do I notice? I notice 5, 15, and 20 can be divided. 5 times 3 and 5 times 4 is 20. Great. Then I see 6 and 30, 6 times 1, 6 times 5. If you know the times tables, it is faster. Great. 24 and 16. Well, I can take care of 4, 4 times 1 and 4 times 6. As far as 6 and 16 are concerned, both are even numbers, right? So 8 and 3 can work for me. Now, nothing is common between numerator and denominator. So we get 8 in the numerator and 3 times 3, 9, 9 times 5, 45 in the denominator. So that is the answer for us. Make sense? Perfect. Now, as you can see, we could have simplified in a different way. So any way you do it, final answer will be same. That is important. Next question, the last question for us is 15 divided by 18 times 6 divided by 10 times 27 divided by 33. So 27 is 9 times 3. You can divide by 9 and with 3. So let's do 9 times 3 and 9 times 2 as 18, right? 18 and 27 makes sense. 9 times 2, 9 times 3. And now 3 times 1 and 3 times 11 makes sense. Okay. As far as 10 and 15 are concerned, we've done many times 5 times 3 and 5 times 2. 2 being an even number will get into 2 times 1 and 2 times 3 will be 6. Now we have 3's in the numerator which can be multiplied to get us 9, and 11 times 2 is 22, which comes in the denominator. With that, we have actually solved all these 20 questions. Great. Now, let us explore the process of division in fractions with the help of 12 examples. As you can see, wide variety of examples have been taken. We are dividing fractions by fractions. We are dividing whole number by fractions and doing the reverse, dividing fractions by whole numbers and also using mixed numbers. So that should give you what you need. And this is a skill required even by the senior students. So now let's look into this division process. So let's begin with the first two questions, which are relatively simple. However, a couple of things to understand, which will be commonly followed for all division in fractions. 2 over 7 divided by 3 over 5. First step is to write this as a multiplication statement. So we'll rewrite this as 2 over 7, and instead of divide, it becomes multiply. And flip this 3 over 5 as 5 over 3. So in this playlist, you'll find how do we multiply fractions. And now, division is same as multiplication, except for the divisor getting flipped, as I have shown you. Then you multiply using the techniques you have learned. Easiest way is to multiply the numerators and the denominators together. So 2 times 5 will give us 10, and 7 times 3 gives us 21, and we get our result. Now, this was simple case since there was no common term which could have been cancelled from numerator and denominator. And therefore, this is the lowest term of the answer. So, read the question. We need to divide the fractions and write answers in the lowest terms. So, how do we simplify fractions is another part which you should know. Perfect. So, let's follow this strategy and continue. As in multiplications, we learn two different strategies. Here also, we'll do two different strategies. So, first step, I think you all have understood, which is rewrite the division statement with first fraction as such, right? And multiplication, flip it. So, we write this over 10 over 3. Now, in this particular case, you can clearly see that we have 10 in the numerator and we have 5 in the denominator. So we have a common factor of 5, means 5 times 1 and 5 times 2 can be utilized. 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10. So we have simplified first. Now it's a good time to multiply and write down the answer. 4 times 2 is 8, and in the denominator, 3 times 1 is 3. We get our answer. So simplify and then multiply the numerators and denominators to get the answer is our strategy. Perfect. So now we'll do this for the next set of questions. 2 over 3 divided by 1 over 6, 1 over 8 divided by 5 over 6. I would like you to pause the video, right, and then do it along with me. So it is 2 over 3. What is the first step? Divide means reciprocal of multiplication. You can write 6 over 1. 6, that means multiplication with 6. Second step is to simplify. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, and we get 2 times 2, 4 as our answer. You should not be writing it as 4 over 1. That's not a good practice. 4, a whole number in this case, is your answer. Correct. The next one here is 1 over 8 divided by 5 over 6. Leave 1 over 8 as such. Replace the division with multiplication of a reciprocal, which is 6 over 5 in this case. 8 and 6 are even numbers, both can be divided by 2. So we get 2 times 4 as 8, 2 times 3 as 6, and our answer, which is 3 over 20. Makes sense. So I hope so far you have understood the basic process of division in case of fractions. Perfect. Well, in case you want to master strategies, you may also email me on globalmathinstitute@gmail.com or explore our playlist. Absolutely free videos for last 15 years for you to master strategies. Great. Here is now the next question. What we have is a whole number 6, which is being divided by 2 over 3. How do we do that? So first step is same. We'll leave 6 as such. Division is changed to multiplication by 3 over 2. Right. And now you can simplify between 6 and 2, both even numbers. We can divide by 2 each. We get 3 for 6. And now we multiply 3 times 3 to get 9 as our answer. Another whole number is this time the answer for the question. Question number 6, we are dividing by a whole number. Now, these two are also very interesting cases. Sometimes students get confused. Right. So here we have 35 over 28, which remains as such. Division is changed to multiplication. 7, actually 7 over 1. Flip it and it becomes 1 over 7. And then now we have a multiplication statement where first simplify, then multiply. 7 goes 5 times in 35, and now we have our solution, which is 5 over 28. Perfect. So that is our solution. Now we have the next set, which is 1 over 32 divided by 7 over 8. How will you do this? Well, simple steps. Write down 1 over 32 as such, multiply with the reciprocal, which is 8 over 7. And now simplify. 8 times 1 and 8 times 4 helps us to simplify. And when we multiply, we get 1 over 4 times 7, which is 28, as our answer. Perfect. Next one is 5 over 9 divided by 15 over 6. Correct. 5 over 9 times 6 over 15. Flip it. And now you see 9 and 6. You can actually simplify dividing by 3. So we get 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 2 as 6. We have even numbers, multiple of 5, 5 and 5 times 1 and 5 times 3. That also helps. With that, we get our result, which is 2 over 9. Correct? So 3 times 3 is 9. We get 2 over 9 as our answer. So I hope till now there are no questions, right? But you need practice. And for that, we have 4 more questions to do. 30 over 27 divided by 5 over 9. First step, 30 over 27, leave it as such, right? Now the divisor, which is 5 over 9, right? Multiplication statement, flip it, 9 over 5. Simplify, correct? 9 times 1 and 9 times 3. You simplify by crossing out the common factors, and 5 is 5 times 1 and 5 times 6 is 30. Now again, you see that 30. 6 can be also further divided by 3 to get 2 us, and therefore we get 2 as the answer. Clear? So you have to do complete simplification to get to the result. If you don't do it, writing the answer and then simplifying is also a good practice, right? So we'll do it in one or two where we'll simplify at the end. Okay. So now, question number 10. 13 over 3, right? 13's timetable is slightly difficult, but a pack of cards, we have 52 cards in which if you deal amongst 4 people, everybody gets 13 cards. Okay, great. Write it as a multiplication statement, we get 6 over 52. So, as I was saying, 52 cards, 13 goes 4 times with 52. Simple as that. Try to remember this. This is kind of important since many times it is difficult to see, especially for our junior middle school students. 3 times 2 is 6, well known, right? Okay, great. And we know 2 times 2 is 4. So that gives us the answer, which is 1 over 2 half. Perfect. Last question for you. Now, in the last question, we have also taken mixed numbers. You should know how to convert the mixed number into improper fraction. Perfect. So, first step, 11. It should not be a problem at all. Similar to what we did, 15 over 18, right? Division converted to multiplication, 12 over 10. Perfect. So I'll leave this for you to do. Simplify, write down your answer, okay? The next one, 1, 2 over 3 divided by 10 over 21. Now, how do you write 1, 2 over 3? So 1 times 3 is 3 and plus 2 is 5. So it can be written as 5 over 3. Do you see that? Division converted to multiplication. So we get 21 over 10. We will flip it. So these are the last two questions now for you to simplify. I hope you must have got 11. So check your answer. Right. So 15 and 10 reminds you 5 is a common factor. 5 times 3 and 5 times 2 help us to do it. 12 and 18. You could divide by 2, 2, 2 like this. You could go, right? But you also know 6, right? 6 times 3 and 6 times 2. Great. Well, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 2 is 6. If you write 6 over 6, we know 6 over 6 is 1. You could actually do it in a couple of steps. So there is no harm in doing it in more than 2 steps. Perfect. So that is also perfect. The answer is 1. The next one here is 21 can go with 3, 3 times 1 and 3 times 7, correct. And 5, 1 and 5 times 2. So we do get our answer, which is 7 times 1 is 7 and 2 times 1 is 2. So 7 over 2 is the answer for the last question. You see, in no time we could do all the 12 questions without any problem, just following two things, and that is division is reciprocal of multiplication. So change the division sign and the fraction after that, flip it, right? Which is called the reciprocal. Once you've done, you have a multiplication statement, and multiplication is first you simplify, then you multiply the numerators together to write in the numerator, and multiply denominators together to write in the denominator. That gives you the answer. I hope it makes sense. Feel free to write your comments, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your valuable time and all the best.